What up, Dokkanners? Welcome back to ToonRami for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Bottle. In today's... No! I can't take that back. It's a single take. Dokkan Bottle it is. In today's Dokkan Bottle video, I'm going to be answering a question that I've been asked quite a bit on my streams and my videos. And it's one that's got a lot of different answers, so I'm going to give you my take on this. But the question is, which unit should you buy from the legendary coin shop? This is a very commonly asked question, and rightfully so, because there's so many different answers that hopefully my viewpoints and my thoughts on this could help you in your decision-making process. I am not telling you who to summon. I will be giving you my thoughts and my suggestions, but ultimately the decision is up to you. So if you guys agree or disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. Let's be civil about this. This is all just my thoughts, so I'm not going to be pretending like I'm giving the 100% correct answer. Let's get that out of the way. Now, we'll begin with probably the one thing that we can all agree on, and that is the timing. When should you even consider buying these coin shop units? The answer is after your summons. Once you're done with your summons, then only should you consider going into this coin shop and buying the units, because the worst thing that could happen is you go in here because you're so impulsive. I'm speaking from personal experience. I don't remember which LR it was, but I was so eager to get one particular unit. Jumped into the coin shop, bought the unit first thing. Literally my next summon, I pulled that very unit. Drove me crazy. I can't remember which one it was though. So I'm not making it up, but it has happened. So if you don't believe me, there is definitely going to be somebody in the comments who has done that, or somebody that you know that has done that. So make sure that once you are done with your summons, you come in here and then you purchase the unit, because that is probably the best way to avoid any sort of heartbreak or tragedy. Now, with that out of the way, we'll go over 4 other points that I tend to think about when deliberating on this whole question, and you guys can let me know if you agree or disagree. The number one thing that I do think about is whether or not I like the unit. If I like the unit, that takes priority over anything else that I mention or anybody else mentions for that matter, because the number one thing about Dokkan is you want to enjoy the game. And if you enjoying the game means you get to run your daily events with your Mighty Mask, then that's your prerogative. You should definitely summon the unit, you should buy the unit, and you should use that unit on your various events. I personally do not like Mighty Mask, so if I had the option to pick one of these units, I would probably avoid Mighty Mask. I don't know why. You guys have asked me this in other videos. Why don't I like Mighty Mask? I don't know. I don't know why, but I just don't like the unit. And I can't seem to figure out if it'll ever change. It probably won't. But liking the unit is very important. I remember when I first started playing Dokkan, the very first SSR I ever got was STR Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And to be quite honest with you, now that I think about it, that is probably one of the main reasons why I still play Dokkan. I am a huge Vegeta fanboy, and the fact that Goku went Super Saiyan 3 and Vegeta never did always bothered me. So I always thought, how cool would it be if Vegeta went Super Saiyan 3? This was back when I wasn't as connected with all of the Dragon Ball Hero stuff, so I didn't really know about the non-canon Dragon Ball stuff, so I'd never even seen a Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. When I pulled that Vegeta in Dokkan for the very first time, I was over the moon. I was ecstatic, and I'm pretty sure that is one of the contributing reasons to why I stuck around with Dokkan. And I dumped Legends, actually. I played both at the same time, tried them both. I think it's because of Vegeta that I stopped playing Legends and I preferred Dokkan instead. Funny story. So with that said, if you enjoy running Perfect Cell or you enjoy running Bardock, that is more important than anything else. And also, if you're worried about your unit being bad, don't be, because as we scroll further down the list, we are obviously pointing out the older LRs in the game, which tend to not age very well. But with the advent of EZAs on the LR level, we are actually able to bring some of these older units into the forefront with newer and updated abilities. This STR Broly is one of the oldest LRs in the entire game, and is now one of the best units in the entire game, in spite of being around units like KFC, Tech Jiren, and all these other guys. So don't be afraid to pick some of these older units if you really want them, if you really like them, because they will be good eventually. Don't worry about that. That's the first thing. The next thing that I think about is how many copies of the unit do you have? How many copies? Because the way that I see this, the more copies of a unit that you have, the sooner you will start to cringe when you pull future copies of the unit once you rainbow the unit. So let's say, for example, I have a 90% Vegeta, a 55% Gohan, and a 79% Broly. I am more inclined to cringe when I see future Majin Vegeta summons than I do the Gohan summons, because for Gohan I only have 1 copy. I still need to pull 4 more LRs of this type in order to rainbow the unit. So that would take naturally a whole lot longer. If I rainbow this Vegeta on the next banner, putting him at 100%, I now no longer desire pulling this unit. So if I start to pull him, that becomes a cringe thing for me. It starts to make me upset. It doesn't give me the same level of enjoyment that I would if I pulled the Gohan. So to further that thought process, I want to make sure that I always pull or summon the unit that I have the least amount of copies of. So if I have a unit with 0 copies, like let's say I don't have Nappa, I am more inclined to pick up Nappa from this coin shop simply because I don't have the unit. Of course, you don't even have to pull anything. If you're not sure, that's also another thing that I should mention. If you are undecided and you cannot make an informed decision as to which LR you want to pull, there is no shame in waiting. Because sometimes, which is possible, you may hold off on summoning or hold off on purchasing, and then the next banner rolls around, we get a new legendary rare unit. That unit becomes so good that you want to buy as many copies of that unit as possible when that unit is inevitably available in the coin shop. So saving all these coins now would actually help you. So you don't necessarily have to buy something right now. You could always wait. So how many copies is something that I think about. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that one. Now the next thing that I think about is how applicable would the unit be in your daily Dokkaning. As you guys know, this is a collector gacha with a whole lot of different units. We've got 78, looking at my box, I've got 78 LRs, and then I've got 929 different cards altogether. I'd say maybe like 10% of them are dupes. So let's just say I have 850 copies or 850 different cards in this game. There is no way that I would be using every single unit on a daily basis in this game. Why? Because maybe they're not optimal, they're not convenient, I don't feel like using them. They may not just be something that I want to use at the moment. If you are considering purchasing a unit from the coin shop that ultimately is a unit that you may not even use a whole lot, you might want to consider holding off then, because while you may want to have the unit, if you're never going to use it, it's probably better suited to be a unit that you pull randomly during a banner summon anyway, which is actually the philosophy that I had for the GT Trio. The GT Trio is a unit that I don't particularly care for, never cared for this unit, and my philosophy was, I have every single LR in the entire game, including 1000 Day Goku. I don't have GT Trio. Should I buy the unit? On paper, yeah, since I'm a content creator, since I'm somebody who wants to use all the different teams that are available at my disposal, it would probably make sense to buy this unit, but I just didn't care for it because I don't like the unit, and I thought, you know what? I'll get him naturally over time. Turns out, I think a couple weeks later, Global ended up getting a chain battle where we needed the GT Trio to do chain battle. I struggled on that event. I still got top 1%, but barely because I used a different unit. But had I had the GT Trio, I wouldn't have had that problem. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when, I'm sure some of you guys remember that. I complained so much during that Garesha video. Keep in mind that if you're not going to be using the unit on a daily basis, maybe it's not necessarily a good thing to buy the unit. And the last thing that I think about is if you would even be able to get the unit to the LR level. That is a valid concern that people should have, because there are a couple instances that I'm going to mention to you where people would buy the unit from the coin shop or summon the unit and then not be able to actually awaken the unit. One example that comes to mind is the Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. I remember for a very long time, after this unit first showed up, not a lot of people summoned because naturally it's a legendary summon, people tend to avoid those. When the unit actually came back and was available in the coin shop, I think a lot of people bought the unit from the coin shop, which is great because the unit is very good, he's very powerful, leads a cool category, has a lot of utility. But the problem was, this unit has a very interesting set of medals required to actually awaken. You need the Fusion Android 13 Dokkan event medals, and then you also need 7 copies of each of these medals that are available from a particular story event. And this story event was notorious for not being available. This was a story event that showed up once, disappeared, and then it was not available in the Portal of Memories. Portal of Memory events only show up after the event has come back a second time, and this Super Android 13 event had not showed up a second time, so a lot of people ended up sitting on that Super Saiyan Goku in their box, unable to awaken the unit, because not only could they not get the unit from the normal day-to-day grind on Dokkan, they couldn't even go into the Portal of Memories and actually access this event, which was a hilarious problem. So many people used to complain about that. So if you are considering pulling a unit that you don't typically see people use, make sure to take a look at the medals. That's one good thing about Dokkan. One of the updates that they did, which I very much appreciate, you can go into their growth section, see the little flowchart and how they awaken. You click on the unit that you want. It shows you the medals that you need and where you can get them. So if you don't know if that event is available to you because necessarily you don't have a whole lot of green keys or you don't have enough stamina to do those events, the Dokkan events, that might also influence your decision-making process on summoning a particular unit. Nowadays, it's not a big deal because everyone has been getting green keys, especially during the 6th anniversary. You've probably been given quite a few story keys, but it ultimately may not be enough because you need to farm out 7 copies of each of those medals. Maybe you don't get lucky with the drops. So there's always going to be a couple reasons here and there as to why you don't want to summon a particular unit. Sometimes it could be medal-based, sometimes it could be units value-based, or things like that. So keep that in mind. For me personally, I did have a situation similar to that with a Beerus. I think I pulled this Beerus a year and a half ago. I think this was the 2019 or 2020 Step Up New Year summons. For the guaranteed LR, I ended up pulling Beerus, and I remember this because I said that this Beerus sucked, and I got a lot of flack for it, and rightfully so, because this was like early on in my Dokkaning. I didn't really know better. I was spoiled by seeing all of these other crazy passives, and then seeing a 2-line passive here with a Beerus and Whis just seemed very underwhelming to me. So I said that this unit sucked, and I got a lot of flack for it. But what's funnier is I pulled the unit, but I was never able to awaken the unit, because at the time, I don't think we had Portal of Memories at the time. We might have. But either way, I did not have access to the Bulma Slap story event, so I needed to get a bunch of pudding to then buy these 2 medals from the Incredible Gem, not the Incredible Gem Shop, but the Treasure Shop in order to awaken this unit to the LR level. I couldn't do it. So for, I think, like 2 or 3 months, I had to sit there with that Beerus, unable to use the unit simply because the event wasn't available. So those are the things that I think about when considering whether or not I should purchase one of these LRs. Now, right now, I will be pulling an LR because I want to set an example on this video. Looking at these units, I have all of them. Most of them are rainbowed. I do have a couple units that are 1 dupe, 2 dupes, but the unit that I'm ultimately going to be picking is the one unit that I have 0 dupes for. I just have the 1 copy, the 55%, and I will be purchasing 1 LR Turles. Turles is somebody that I use quite a bit. It's a unit that I care about quite a bit because he has a lot of functions on various extreme teams that I run. And what's very annoying about this guy is that his stunning effect sometimes isn't always guaranteed. So I like to have additionals, but I had to settle for a 55% with a level 2 additional skill orb. So in order to help this unit increase his productivity on my various events, I will be using this Turles that I just purchased right now to open up that 1 path. So you guys are witnessing history, folks. I don't think I've ever purchased an LR on a video before. So I'm going to be putting additional and crit and do that and do that and do that and do that. So how does this unit work? Let me read the passive for you. Okay, well, I'll read everything. Terrifying Conqueror's key plus for 130% across the board. 12 key causes colossal damage, medium chance to stun. Raises attack for 1 turn, causes mega colossal and a high chance to stun the enemy. So additionals would help with that stunning. Attack and defense plus 130%, Terrifying Conqueror allies key plus 3, attack and defense plus 30%. Key plus 6, attacks effective against all types when target enemy is stunned. Attacks effective against all types and high chance of launching an additional super attack when key is 24. So having additionals and crits will help because if you can stun the enemy on the first super attack and then launch a second super attack, that second super attack would gain more effectiveness because the unit is stunned. So this unit screams additional, and that's why I'm going to be giving all the additional that I can to this unit. So now I've got an 11-8 split on my LR STR Turles. So there you have it, folks. That is a little sneak peek into how I deliberate when it comes to pulling these LR units from the coin shop, what units you should be looking into, how you should be thinking about approaching this whole thing. Look, it's not a very, very difficult thing to think about, but it is something to take some time to consider just because these coins are hard to come by. And it could take, who knows when the next time is going to come around where you're actually going to have enough coins to go back in again and make the same exact decision-making process. So hopefully I was able to help you out here by giving you some of my thoughts. Quickly, I will give you my top 5 suggestions that I would recommend for people of all skill levels in Dokkan. Number 1, I think probably the most recommended would be Broly for me, because this unit with his EZA is one of the best LRs in the entire game. He can attack all enemies. The conditions for his unit's passive with the EZA is actually pretty crazy and very accessible given the types of events that you come across in Dokkan. So, raised attack and defense causes colossal to all enemies. Raised attack and defense causes mega colossal to a single target. Will launch an additional super attack, by the way, but gains more effectiveness. Key plus 5 when there's a pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans category enemy. attacks effective against all types, and guaranteed to hit when there is a Goku's family category enemy. Since this is Dragon Ball, Goku is, the main focus of this game, of this franchise, there are a lot of events that you'll come across where a Goku's family unit is going to be involved. So Broly gains a ton of value on those types of events. The next unit that I would recommend is this Str Turles, one of the better extreme units in the entire game in terms of support and leader skill, because it's actually a pretty decent category. Terrifying Conquerors is a good category. Having a lead for that category would be nice. Terrifying Conquerors as a whole has a lot of really stellar units, so bringing this guy on any of those teams would actually be very beneficial. And plus, the stunning and the effectiveness against the stun target is a very nice combination in Super Battle Road. Another unit that I recommend is STR Ultra Instinct Goku. The reason why I recommend this guy is because he is a solo act that can be plugged in on any team that you want. He doesn't require having anybody else do anything to the target in order for him to be effective. He dodges at 70% capacity for 7 turns. During those 7 turns, when you can dodge at 70%, the more you dodge, the stronger you get, after which your dodge rate drops down to 50, but by then you'll have gained so much stats that you'll be pretty solid anyway. Also disables enemy guard, so if you combine that with a critical hit build, you're going to be doing a ton of damage with this unit. So Autonomous Ultra Instinct is a very strong candidate. The last units that I personally recommend from my own experience and use is Tech LR Jiren. The reason why I recommend this guy is because he has a Universal Rival Saga lead as well as a Universal 11 lead, and his stats are just some of the most broken, destructive stats I've ever seen. Attack and defense plus 200%, he gains even more with his active skill, and I kid you not, when I ran this guy on the legendary Goku event GT Edition on the INT Super Saiyan 4 Goku stage, I have it on video, this guy was able to tank several key hits against a type disadvantage unit. This guy is very powerful and doesn't also require as much as far as other teammates contributing. As long as the enemy is in attack down or defense down status, he does gain attacks effective against everybody, and also performs a guaranteed crit when the target enemy is stunned. So yeah, Tech LR Jiren is a powerhouse. The last two that I would recommend is kind of like a combined answer. I would say AGL KFC and the Tech Goku Frieza. I'll start with Tech Goku Frieza. This unit is very good. I will be doing a showcase on this unit coming up. But this unit is very good even before his EZA, but he now has an EZA as of the 6-year anniversary. So depending on when you're watching this, the event might still be available. So if you can go get the EZA done, you can get this unit an even more powerful level and very strong overall. And then the KFC, the reason why I mentioned KFC is because she is going, or they, I should say, is going to be very useful. They are going to be very useful in the God event, the new staple event that is available in Dokkan permanently. The God event involves enemies that are all in the Universal Rival Saga category. So that means that the KFC will have the optimal battleground to fight, gain extra defense, gain extra dodge, because when you're fighting Pure Saiyans or Universal Rival Saga enemies, you gain extra defensive and evasive capabilities. So KFC is a very good unit to use as well. Plus, it's very fun to just see super attack after super attack after super attack when fighting those gods. So those are some of my recommendations. Those are my thoughts on the Legendary Coin Shop. Feel free to let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments down below. I feel like I covered everything that I think about, but if there's anything that I missed that you think I should have mentioned, feel free to let me know. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below and let me know in the comments, do you agree or disagree with my thoughts on this whole thing? Do you think that it's more important to pull a unit that you have less copies of? Do you think there's something else that I should be prioritizing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this one. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it! Thanks again. Stay tuned. Always remember to Dokkan in Dokkan Bottle responsibly. I can't believe I said that. Bye-bye.